Hello and welcome back everybody to episode 22. Episode 22, that's right, of Let's Dev. This is Adam of ACG on itch.io. It's Let's Dev time. Come on and grab your friends. We'll go to where the binormal and the tangent ends. With Adam the cat and Luna the human. Go and visit me on itch.io, ACG, Let's Dev time. Anyway, if anybody was watching the last video and read the comments section, you would have seen that there was a problem with the rig, with the animation exports on the last video we did working on this racer. And I just wanted to real quick, I'm not going to go through all the things that, well, I guess I kind of will, because it was only two things that I needed to change to get it working again. But the armature, when I was extruding the bones, for some reason were coming in as different root bones rather than being part of the chain that I had originally started with. And that's a problem when you go to upload for game animation. I think you can do it for cinematics, but as far as the game engine is concerned, it doesn't like it when you have more than one root bone per mesh. And the other problem we were having was the scale. Every other, I don't know what the difference was, every other ship that I've done, I didn't adjust the unit scale, and everything exported just fine, no problems at all. But this one, when I did, the mesh came in at meters, but the armature came in at centimeters. So I needed to go in and adjust and let it know that it was supposed to all be, well, I mean, all be uniform. I'm not actually sure if I have it set as centimeters right now. This one came in smaller than the other ships, but I don't know. Everything got scaled to right and is working just fine in the engine. So for now, we're just going to say that's good. Still kind of getting my feet under me with Blender, coming from working for quite a while in Maya. And I guess just don't quite know what I'm doing completely yet. Oh, and there were a few places like, oh yeah, this some of these faces, when I cut in the bevels on the wings, did have some n-gons I had to fuse in, fuse some vertexes at a couple of points, because I was trying to export in tangent space when I was troubleshooting the problem, and it gave me an error, let me know that I didn't have everything in tris and quads. There were some n-gons, so I went in and did my cleanup. Just, take your time, everybody. Don't rush your art, because you'll make some little mistakes. Make some mistakes like that can cost you time later. But everything's in and working now, got it adjusted around and fixed. And if you were, following along and trying to use this as kind of a guide for how to make 3D art in Blender, And if you were having a similar error, those are the things that I checked and eventually was able to get things working right. The main thing was the unit scale just coming in at the armature coming in at a different scale um, than the mesh, and the fact that there was all the bones have to be in a single hierarchy under one starting root bone. Alright, but that's all. That's all already in the game. And I think today we're going to have a video that mostly focuses on another fix that I need to do, which there isn't a video of me making the mistake this time, but I'm going to go in, we're going to do a little bit of looking at the foliage. I'm not a wordsman, but the foliage editor tool. And we're gonna redo one of the levels, maybe two of the levels, because I would like the instanced objects that it creates, as like the trees and the brush and everything, to have colliders in this particular instance, and it appears that the only mistake I made was that I needed to set that up before painting it into the scene, because it can't generate colliders after it's already in the scene, but it is perfectly fine to have them outside of the scene. It's perfectly fine to have them, but you need to tell it that they exist before they go into the scene, rather. We're going to make one more object for that level, because I like where it's going. It's kind of a funky, mossy mushroom world with big mushroom trees. And I'm going to make one more object that's just like kind of more of a normal tree, but a little bit of a weird. Honestly, probably going to be kind of like, not to nerd out, but if anybody watches Dragon Ball Z, a Namekian style tree. I don't want this to be super dense, but I am going to use simplified collision, because these are not going to be huge objects in the world. They'll be, I mean, tree-sized, but compared to the ship and a lot of the other things that are in the actual scene, it's going to feel small. But I basically just want some kind of fun trees. That aren't mushrooms, but kind of fit the theme of the world, hopefully. And just add some more visual variety, because I was noticing that the landscape painting materials were increasing the file size of the game by a significant amount every time I would add a new level. But I ran some tests, and the game size isn't getting that much bigger, based off of these. And they're not super complex foliage meshes, but, you know, I didn't know in Unreal. You know, full disclosure, in the actual Unreal Engine, I'm only on my third game in. Um, so I'm kind of just getting my feet under me. I have worked with other game engines before, but I like the way this one plays with art programs. It's nice and easy to use, but, you know, still learning things. And I think that's what this whole kind of series is about, is just not being scared to get in there and see what you can make. Because I tell you, you're not going to make anything if you don't try. Alright. So, I want all of that. And I'm going to go ahead and let's basically do that same trick that we do with cylinder objects, except I wanted the sphere more urgently. So we're just going to make one custom. Boom, like that. Oh, but I should have probably... You know what, it's no big deal. No use crying over spilled UVs. Grunkalunka dunkety Linex. How come I can't ever remember a Linex? For as much of my time as I spend playing around in 3D art programs, I am shocked by how my brain just does not care to get the the I can't even think of the axis. Yeah, I can't remember my axis direction, or even what they're called apparently. Um, let's see here. How do I want to do this? Because I do want to make sure that these are even. Um, oh, let's make that 0.1. Oh, let's actually make that 0.05. And this one will be 0.1, 0.15, 0.2, just to keep this even so that it's a nice even cylinder texture when we're done. And just going to kind of do it as we go here, because I don't know, I guess I feel like it'll be a little easier. And I already have the necessary components highlighted. Where am I now? 0.45? Yeah. 0.5, that one's right where it needs to be. I'll put this one right at 1. I'm going to kind of work backwards here. Five. 9. 5. 8. It's fun. It's all fun stuff. UVing is fun stuff. I actually don't hate this part. A lot of people do hate UVing. But I think of it as making a little package for your 3D model. It's got to have a nice, well-designed packaging that wraps around. And I guess coming from a light graphic design background, I do tend to like, you got to run that, the package design has to be able to go through a printing press. So, this is just, what can you do? It's the way the world works. And I actually kind of enjoyed doing that the few times I've had the opportunity. So, kind of makes me think of that, which is a little bit of fun. And 0.55, there we go. Runkalunka dunkity line Y. This time I remembered to click on a line Y. And Y 0. There we go. Although I don't actually want that because they all need to be on the same UV sheet. And I'm going to cheat this a little bit, but I'll show you what I mean by that later. Let's make that half as tall. We'll move it up by just a little bit. Let's see. Or do I want that? 0.75 maybe? 8. 7 or 8. 6. Nah. Okay. 0.755. We'll call that perfect. For sure inside of the thing there. And then this one we'll just put right at the halfway point. I said at the halfway point. For goodness sakes. That will afford me just a touch more room for this, because I think this is all we're going to actually have on the UV sheet. I'm going to use some textures that I've already made, but I'm going to adjust them just a little bit because they're technically for a different planet. And I want to keep the planets very distinct from one another. You should really feel like you're in a different place. Everywhere you go. It's going to be my thing for this Luna Gazune for this game. Oh, and this is just kind of window dressing that you're going to be flying by quickly, so I don't want to get too detailed here, but I do want to get a little detailed. So let's just do this, and then we can bump these in just a scooch. There you go, a little kind of goofy Namekian tree. But not Namekian, it's Sigodan. Sigodan? I don't remember my own planet names yet. Of course, it's early, still nothing set in stone. Okay, so good. Got our UV sheet set up. So I'm going to just export that. I'm doing these as smaller textures because they are just the you know, the window dressing, just smaller kind of stuff. Let's see, where did I just save that? Landscape stuff. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay. And we're gonna get the old Photoshop up and running. And we've got a tree bark that I've already kind of made tileable. I'm gonna just bring it in. it's going to be the bark texture for the trunk. Just merge those together, and then do I want to, you know what, we'll see how it looks. I can always adjust this a little bit more later, but I just want that for the multiply layer. I'm going to go with a more vibrant color palette like the rest of the planet has in its plants. Do I want... I might just do it as an overlay. And maybe... I know this seems a little crazy, but it should actually match the other art for this planet pretty well. Oh, actually though, I want that all on a different layer because I want these to actually kind of look like they're bumps. And I also want to do a little more overlapping because I was kind of liking the effect that that was giving me. And there we go. And the only difference is I'm going to go ahead and just let that have a bevel and emboss effect run on it. And there you go. That'll probably be sort of the tree texture. And let me have a look here, because I'm sure I've got something I can use. Let's see what I can do with this. this underneath what we've already got. Is that my, oh yeah, well, I mean, I guess I don't really need it. Mm-hmm. Just need that leafy looking stuff. Okay, that should be fine. But I am going to, oh no, wait, that's, well, actually, I guess. That is not such a bad thing to do. We'll go ahead and get this. Just delete the outside. Oops. And I'm going to just do a little, I don't know what, little silliness here, try and make this look like it's an actual kind of tree. And we'll see how well it works, because I don't know. But again, does not need to withstand much in the way of scrutiny. Oh, and then let's see, I'll desaturate that one as well. And we will add a layer behind it. Now we just need to think of what color the leaves of this tree would be. Maybe right in the middle there. Let's see here. We're just going to go with hard light. Switch that back to normal for just a sec, because I do want that to tile a little better than it probably will. So we're going to get that patch tool one more time. Remember to merge the neatly there. Merge the different images together, but and there would have been that seam right at the corner, and I can get rid of that. Put that back on hard light. And there you have it. Go ahead and save that. This is where the other ones will go. I guess it's technically not a mushroom, but I'll remember. I'll just go ahead and save that. I guess before we close it, let's just see how it looks. On the tree. Not terrible, although do kind of think for one. See. It's 256. What am I looking for here? 120. Three? Alright, and go ahead and these all together. Well, I wanted these all together. There we go. And we will just burn everything a little bit. Start with highlights, I guess. Trying to get lazy, and there's no reason for it. Mid-tones. And one for shadows. And let's try that one more time. I feel like that's a little better, although I might real quick, while we're here, uh, 128. Just go ahead and do that. That'll give us a little more of that leafy texture. Up there on the tree. No, I'm actually feeling pretty good about that. Just move this down a touch and then convert the origin, or set the origin to the 3D cursor that's back at the, the world origin, I guess. And that way when we generate them into the world, they'll always be kind of tucked under the ground at the roots there, so it will look like it's growing up out of the ground. That should be everything we need for this one. Let's go ahead and there we go. Call it a sea tree, a Seagadin tree. And just to be safe, we will be sure to save this. Alright. So let's get these closed down. Save that. And see if we can't have a look at the project here real quick. We'll just go ahead and bring in that new FBX, the C tree. I do want collisions for this. I'm going to have it just make a material for me. Should all be good. I just want to have a look real quick here at the simple collision. Which I don't hate, but I do think I'm just going to use this for the kind of foliage, the leaves at the top. And I'm going to just add a capsule capsule simplified collision. Especially considering that this base of the tree is just, a straight up and down cylinder. And we'll save that. Then we'll just get into, let's see, map 6. These are the little mushrooms that got painted in, although the issue I'm having is that, oh, well, collision is already being shown. I want these to have colliders. I tested it out earlier and they were working, but then when I did the build, they weren't working anymore. And I've done some digging around online. It looks like the problem is you need to tell it to have the collision turned on before you start painting them in. So we're gonna start. I want to see that all the time. We're gonna start by just going into the foliage paint mode. You can see we've got these here already, but I'm going to just real quick show you. We got our new static mesh. Collision is set up the way we want already. So I'm going to just put that in there. That highlight means that it's okay for a foliage type. And then save the asset. You can just put it in the same art folder that that the static mesh is in. And this time, before I start anything, I'm going to set it to block all, just like the static mesh is set up for. And we'll have to see in my other level, I've got a whole bunch of just simple plant cards, and my light map resolution did become an issue because I had too many things in there. I don't think that'll happen on this level, but we'll keep an eye on it. Main thing I want to see, you check these to just you know, say you want to start bringing them into the world. You can do all of them together, or, you know, just a very specific set. And there you go. It just sort of paints them in. Let's those are still not coming in with their colliders, which makes me wonder what's going on there. Oh, and actually I don't want dynamic shadow, just in case. I think we're okay to have a shadow. I will have them cull at 200 meters. I don't know why my collision is still not coming in for these assets. It's not the end of the world to me, really. But it just, you know, as I understand it, it should be working. And it is not. would really like these to be objects that you could actually collide with and obstacles in the game, as it were. Guess I could set that to keep them further apart. But there you go, adding a new foliage type. And painting them into the scene is just that easy. And collision should be as well, but apparently I've got something set up slightly incorrectly, so that'll be a project for me to keep working on outside of the videos, and I'll do another quick fix update later on when I get that figured out. But yeah, that was the fixes I needed to do to the animation rig. And a little bit of the new environment design here on Siguden. Trek 2. I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and I will see y'all on the next episode of Let's Dev.